All right, good. We're good. All right. Jesus, again, I work for Centro Campensio, Farm Worker Center. We're an hour south of the Twin Cities in Owatonna. Any of you been to Owatonna before? Raise your hand. Okay, cool. Rest of you got to go and visit sometime. All right. In Centro Campensio, what we do, we focus, we're a social justice organization. We've been around for 13 years, officially for 10. And we organize the Latino community in that part of the state, in the southern part of the state. If you think of the first congressional district with 10 walls kind of covers, that's our main area. So we have about 600 members distributed across southern Minnesota. And we focus on 4 main priorities based on our membership. The first one will be immigration or immigrant rights. The second one will be workers' rights, work around health, and education. Those are the four topics or areas that we concentrate on with our organizing. And it was nice to hear the description we had about the ice cream, because that's why I say the farm workers, because that's who we organize, that's who we work to improve their lives. And in the last 10 to 15 years, the Latino community in southern Minnesota has been increasing. I was telling someone earlier today, in some school districts, they're about, in Owatonna, they're about 10% of the school population. In Pueblo, it's about 20% of the school, of the students in the school. So it's been growing a lot. And along with the population, the issues also arise, when it comes to discrimination cases or exploitation of immigrant workers, or issues related to immigration. That's increasing too, hence the presence of Centro Campensio in that area. But I'm not here today to talk about the immigrant workers. I'm here to talk about their kids, which is what I do. I do youth organizing. I've been doing the youth organizing at Centro for the last 7 or 8 years. I started working there when I was in high school. I was a junior in high school. And I got involved with an after-school program they had at the time. And then eventually turned into youth organizing because we started working around the DREAM Act. Any of you, all you related to the DREAM Act, access to higher education for undocumented students. And we started working in the state to make sure the state, public schools in the state would allow undocumented students to go to college and pay in-state tuition like everybody else. And we started a movement around that, and a lot of other organizations started working on that issue too, and that kind of ignited the youth organizing component of Centro Campensio, and we've decided that working with our youth has been the most important thing that we've done, because that's creating a new platform for the organization and bringing new leaders into the organization and creating a new kind of community with a different kind of thinking about the social issues. So let's do this. Why do you think working with our youth is important? Just throw it out there. Why is that important?
They have an impact on their parents.
They have impact on their parents. All right. What else? They are the future. Classic, the future. All right, that's the one I was looking for, because that's what we always talk about. Kids are our future. We gotta invest on them. We gotta make sure they do what they're supposed to do. So in the future, they'll pay us Social Security and we can retire or whatever, all those things. Yeah, we hear that all the time, and it was interesting. When I was going to college, I was focusing a lot on youth development and youth sociology. And I had this professor that told me, we had the same conversation. He's like, we always think of our youth or kids in terms of the future instead of the present. And he said, kids and students and youth, they're in the world. And he put little lines in that sentence. In the world, meaning they're here right now, and they're experiencing the social structures that we create around them right now at this precise moment. And to think that we have to wait a long time for them to become part of that social structure and to start actually doing something to change it, that's the wrong way of thinking about it. And you said, and we have to concentrate on empowering them right now so they can start changing the structures that are impacting them right now. And that's precisely what we do through youth organizing. We educate youth about the issues that are impacting their lives, either immigration, health, education, and we try to empower them to actually connect to the movement, and create their own movement around the social issues. And that's what we're doing at Centro. Either through, around the DREAM Act, we organize hundreds of students to go to the Capitol every year and talk to the legislators and the governor to pass the DREAM Act in Minnesota. They've been really involved in the fight for immigration reform with Centro Campensio. They've created their own campaigns. So we created a new space, a new structure for them to actually do or start working for change. And the thing about our community or our world is that we don't have those structures created in our normal society. We always, you got to go to high school, and then you got to go to, college, and then once you go to college, if you get a nice job, then you can get involved with an organization, volunteer. But we're never talking to them about, you're going to be empowered, and this is how you can connect to this organization, or you can create your own organization, or you can start this movement. And they never understand that because we've created a separate structures that don't allow for that. And youth organizing actually dismantles that, and make sure that we create the structures needed in our community to make sure they're empowered to do something. A lot of organizations have tried to go into youth organizing unsuccessfully because it's kind of an art, because we always have this top-down system where we see the youth as volunteers, so they're going to come and help, and we're going to teach them how to do things, and we're going to be their leaders, and they're going to follow us, and then eventually they're going to turn into us, and all those things. And working with youth it takes a whole different approach. Even translating community organizing terms and methodology and social issues into their language, and making sure that they are the ones that are not analyzing what's happening in their lives and come up with the strategies, and basically taking the lead. And for ourselves, and I said this one time, the best thing that adults can do is be there for them, but get out of the way when they're taking the lead, and make sure that we provide them with the resources that they need to do the work that is important to them. And a lot of what we do too at Centro is that we combine or community organizing with social services, because there's not a lot of nonprofits like we have in the Twin Cities in rural Minnesota. There's one or two. And we have a college access program that overlaps with our youth organizing. So a lot of the youth that are involved in Centro Campensio, they also are channeling into going to college, and we provide resources for that. They created their own scholarship fund, so in the last 4 or 5 years they've raised about almost $40,000 in grassroots money, doing activities, raffles, you name it, and they distribute that money to students in their community that are going to college. So we do that combination of things that also empower the kids to do what they're normally supposed to do, go to school, go to college, and all those things, but we keep them connected to the social issues and the social justice movement at the same time.